He didn't blame his wife, not even once. He just looked out the window quietly that morning and whispered, "I feel like my body gave up on me." John is 68, retired, diabetic, and used to be the kind of man who'd chop wood in the morning and fix a roof in the afternoon. But lately, something had changed. He wasn't in pain exactly. He was just absent from his own life. His energy dipped before noon. His hands felt colder. His mornings began without the usual signal of vitality. And the bedroom? That chapter was slowly closing. And here's the part that no one told him. It wasn't just about age. It wasn't just diabetes. The real reason his body felt more distant each day, it was sitting on his plate every single morning. Most men over 60 with type 2 diabetes start their day thinking they're doing the right thing. A bowl of cereal, a piece of toast, maybe some fruit juice. But what they don't realize is that breakfast might be the very reason their blood sugar spikes by 10 a.m. and their blood flow drops where it matters most. See, when you combine diabetes with age, your blood vessels already have to work harder to deliver oxygen where it's needed, especially down there. But when you start your day with high glycemic foods, low fiber or quick carbs, you're not just raising blood sugar, you're strangling nitric oxide production, stiffening arteries, and weakening the very muscles responsible for sexual response and pelvic circulation. And over time, that daily breakfast mistake becomes a silent attack on your confidence, your stamina, and your relationship. Not because you didn't care, but because nobody ever told you there's a better way, a smarter breakfast. One that doesn't just stabilize your blood sugar, but actually restores healthy blood flow where you need it most. And here's the best part. You don't need pills. You don't need expensive supplements. You don't need to completely change your life. You need the right foods, at the right time, in the right way. Today, we'll break down 4 specific breakfast foods that are not only safe for men with diabetes, they actively help fight insulin resistance, reduce inflammation, and bring back the natural circulation that helps you feel alive again. This is for the men who are tired of guessing, tired of wondering if it's too late, tired of feeling like no one's talking about what really matters after 60. So if you've been waking up with less energy, feeling colder in your hands and feet, noticing less confidence in the bedroom, or struggling with performance, this video is for you. Because the truth is, your body still knows how to heal, even with diabetes, even after 60. And it all starts with breakfast. Don't go anywhere. In the next few minutes, you'll learn what foods to eat, how to prepare them, when to eat them for best results, and why your breakfast plate could be your most powerful tool in restoring your confidence, energy, and blood flow again. Let's get started. I'm Dr. Lily Anderson. For over 22 years, I've worked with thousands of men over 60, many of them living with diabetes, who thought their best days were behind them. I've sat across from husbands, grandfathers, and proud private men who carried the weight of this one silent question. Is it gone for good? I'm here to tell you it's not. You see, I'm not just a physician. I specialize in integrative men's health, where performance, circulation, blood sugar, and daily habits all come together. I've spent decades looking beyond the prescription pad to find what really works for men in their 60s, 70s, and beyond. And in many cases, it all starts with something as ordinary and as overlooked as breakfast. While most advice focuses on sugar numbers and medications, very few people talk about what those numbers actually mean for your everyday life, for your ability to feel present, connected, and strong. Today, I'm going to show you a breakfast strategy designed specifically for men over 60 who are managing type 2 diabetes. You'll discover 4 simple, affordable foods that don't just stabilize blood sugar, but also support the hormones, enzymes, and blood vessels that affect performance and stamina. You won't hear me selling magic pills or crash diets. What I'll share today is based on science. It's rooted in nutrition that works with your body, not against it. And it's all designed to be safe for men with diabetes, including those on medications. So if you've felt ignored by typical advice, if you're tired of feeling like no one's talking about circulation where it matters most, this video is for you. Let's take back your mornings, one breakfast at a time. Let's begin with the truth. Most diabetic men never hear. You don't need to eat bland, boring meals to stay healthy. You need to eat foods that work with your condition, not against it. And the first step starts at breakfast. I'll walk you through 4 powerful, doctor-approved foods you can enjoy in the morning. These are safe for blood sugar. They support your nitric oxide production, and they help circulation flow to the areas you care about most, your legs, your heart, and yes, your manhood. Let's start with the one I recommend most. 1. Steel-cut oats with chia seeds and cinnamon. If you're used to skipping breakfast or grabbing a sugary pastry, switching to steel-cut oats can be a game changer. Steel-cut oats are high in soluble fiber, especially beta-glucan. This type of fiber helps slow down how quickly carbohydrates are absorbed in your body, keeping your blood sugar more stable after meals. But that's not all. Beta-glucan also helps reduce LDL cholesterol, the kind that clogs arteries. And for men with type 2 diabetes, cleaner arteries mean better blood flow, especially to the pelvic region. Now let's supercharge this bowl. Add chia seeds, preferably soaked overnight in water. Just 1 tablespoon delivers a plant-based omega-3 called ALA, which reduces arterial stiffness and supports nitric oxide production. That means your blood vessels can expand more easily and deliver oxygen-rich blood where it's needed. Then sprinkle on cinnamon, not just for flavor. Multiple clinical studies show that cinnamon may help lower fasting blood glucose and improve insulin sensitivity. Just a half teaspoon can make a difference. How to prepare it? Use half a cup of steel-cut oats. Cook with water or unsweetened almond milk. Add 1 tablespoon of pre-soaked chia seeds. Sprinkle 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. Optional. Add a few crushed walnuts for magnesium, which relaxes blood vessels. When to eat it? Eat this within 60 minutes of waking up to take advantage of your body's insulin sensitivity window and morning nitric oxide dip. Special note for diabetics. This combination has a low glycemic load, supports energy, digestion, and circulation. It keeps you full and prevents glucose spikes. 2. Boiled eggs with half an avocado. Many diabetic men are afraid of fat, but here's the truth. Your body needs fat, just the right kind. Eggs are a great source of high-quality protein, essential for muscle maintenance and hormone production. They're also rich in choline, which supports nerve health and brain function, 2 areas often affected by long-term diabetes. Now pair that with half an avocado, and you've got a circulation-supporting powerhouse. Avocados are packed with monounsaturated fats, potassium, and magnesium. These nutrients reduce blood pressure, improve arterial flexibility, and lower inflammation, especially around the inner lining of your blood vessels. For men with diabetes, avocado also helps slow down the absorption of glucose when eaten with carbs. That means better post-meal control. More importantly, this combo supports testosterone and nitric oxide production, 2 major players in maintaining healthy blood flow and sexual function. How to prepare it? Boil 2 eggs. Slice them. Serve with half an avocado, sliced or mashed. Optional, add lemon juice and black pepper for flavor and added vitamin C. When to eat it? This is a great follow-up to your oats, or as a standalone meal if you prefer a savory breakfast. Special note for diabetics. This combo is naturally low in carbs and very blood sugar friendly. It keeps you full, sharp, and energized without causing spikes or crashes. 3. Blueberries, fresh or frozen. If you want a fruit that supports both blood sugar control and performance, blueberries are your best friend. These small, dark berries are loaded with anthocyanins, plant compounds shown to improve blood vessel function, reduce oxidative stress, and support nitric oxide levels. In fact, One clinical study found that eating just 1 cup of blueberries a day improved arterial dilation in adults with metabolic syndrome, a condition closely linked to type 2 diabetes. The magic is in how they support flow-mediated dilation, the ability of your arteries to expand in response to blood flow. This is critical for circulation in the pelvic region. And here's the good news. Blueberries have a relatively low glycemic index. They don't spike your blood sugar like some other fruits do. How to eat them? Add 1/2 cup to your oats. Blend into a smoothie with unsweetened Greek yogurt. Or eat them plain with a handful of almonds. When to eat them? Early morning is ideal, especially after your main breakfast. Within 2 hours, the anthocyanins begin improving blood flow. Special note for diabetics, stick to 1/2 to 1 cup. Frozen is fine. Just avoid any added sugar or syrups. 4. Green tea with lemon. Now, let's talk about the drink that does more than wake you up. Green tea, especially high-quality sencha, contains EGCG, a compound that boosts nitric oxide production, reduces inflammation, and protects blood vessels from damage caused by high glucose. For men with diabetes, this is vital. Why? Because high blood sugar damages the endothelium, the inner lining of your arteries. This weakens your body's ability to produce nitric oxide. EGCG helps reverse that. But there's a trick. Add a squeeze of lemon. The vitamin C helps your body absorb more EGCG, making the benefits even stronger. Studies show that drinking green tea can improve artery flexibility and blood pressure within just weeks. How to prepare it? Use 1 teaspoon of loose-leaf sencha green tea. Steep in water heated to 80 degrees Celsius, not boiling, for 3 minutes. Add lemon juice, but no sugar. When to drink it? Have it 30 to 60 minutes after breakfast, or as an afternoon swap for coffee. Special note for diabetics, don't overdo it. 1 to 2 cups a day is perfect. Too much green tea may interfere with medications or cause jitteriness in some people. These 4 foods and drinks aren't exotic, they're not hard to find, and they don't require a fancy nutrition plan. But together, they help diabetic men do something extraordinary. Support stable blood sugar and restore circulation to the parts of the body most affected by poor flow. Your heart, your brain, your legs, and yes, your intimacy. You don't have to adopt them all at once. Start with one tomorrow. Then build. Because every morning you make the right choice, your body responds. Your blood vessels open, your energy returns, your confidence rises, and all of it starts with what's on your plate. I want to tell you about a patient I'll never forget. His name is Frank. He was 67 when he first came to see me. A retired truck driver, proud father of 3, and someone who had worked with his hands his entire life. Frank wasn't the kind of man who talked about feelings. But that day, he sat across from me, stared at the floor for a long moment, and finally said, "Doc, I feel like I'm just fading." He didn't mean memory loss. He wasn't talking about energy either, not directly. He meant something more private. He hadn't felt any signs of intimacy, any real physical response. For almost a year, no morning stiffness, no desire, nothing. And the hardest part? He never talked to his wife about it, not once. You see, Frank had been living with type 2 diabetes for 15 years. He was on metformin. He watched his carbs. He even walked a few times a week. His glucose wasn't perfect, but it wasn't terrible either. But no one had ever connected the dots between his blood sugar and his blood flow. No one had told him that high glucose quietly damages the inner lining of blood vessels, the same vessels that supply blood to the pelvic floor, or that insulin resistance lowers nitric oxide, the molecule that helps arteries expand so blood can reach the groin. No one told him that his breakfast of all things might be making it worse. Frank's mornings were simple. Instant oatmeal, a banana, sometimes orange juice. "It feels healthy," he said. But the truth? That combination is a blood sugar roller coaster. It spikes glucose early in the day, crashes insulin response, and does almost nothing for circulation. So we made a small change. He swapped the instant oats for steel-cut oats, cooked slowly with a tablespoon of soaked chia seeds and a dash of cinnamon. Instead of a banana, he added a half cup of frozen blueberries. He gave up orange juice and began drinking green tea with lemon. Twice a week, he added a boiled egg with avocado on the side. That's it. No medications, no drastic diet. After just 2 weeks, he came back to my office, and he said something I'll always remember. "Doc, I didn't expect it, but I felt it. That first flicker. I woke up, and it was there. Not all the way, but enough to know I'm not broken." 4 weeks later, his energy was steadier. He didn't nap after breakfast anymore. His morning walks felt lighter, and he noticed something even more surprising. His fasting glucose dropped by 15 points. But more than the numbers, Frank felt like himself again. He said, "It's like the light inside me came back on." His wife noticed too. She told him gently that she felt closer to him in ways that had nothing to do with intimacy, and yet everything to do with it. Frank wasn't taking performance drugs. He wasn't chasing perfect glucose. He simply gave his body the nutrients it had been missing for years, and his body responded. The change didn't happen overnight. It happened because he stayed consistent. He made breakfast a tool, not just a routine. And the results? Not just physical, emotional, relational, human. Frank is not an exception. I've seen dozens of men in their 60s, 70s, even 80s make small adjustments and feel their strength return. Not in a dramatic way, but in the quiet, steady way that matters most. The kind you feel in your steps, in your sleep, and in the way you look at your partner across the breakfast table. So if you're sitting there wondering if it's too late, if you think the damage is done or the spark is gone, remember Frank. He didn't start with willpower, he started with oats, and from that first morning, everything began to change. Now let's take a step back and ask the real question. Why does diabetes affect a man's performance down there? And why do simple foods like oats, blueberries, or green tea seem to help where pills sometimes don't? Let me explain it in a way that's easy to understand, even if you haven't read a biology book in decades. Your ability to feel energy, strength, and confidence in your lower body, especially in intimacy, depends on one thing: blood flow. Not testosterone, not age, not mood. It starts with circulation. And what controls that flow? A tiny molecule your body makes every single day called nitric oxide. You may have never heard of it, but it's one of the most important compounds for a man's health, especially after 60. Nitric oxide helps your blood vessels relax and widen. Think of it like a green traffic light for your arteries. It signals them to open up so that blood can move freely through your body, into your heart, your brain, your muscles, and yes, your pelvic region. But here's the catch. After age 60, your natural production of nitric oxide drops sharply. And if you have type 2 diabetes, that drop happens even faster. Why? Because high blood sugar damages the endothelium, the thin, delicate inner lining of your blood vessels. This lining is where nitric oxide is made. When it's inflamed or scarred, your body can't produce enough nitric oxide. And without it, your blood vessels stiffen, they narrow, they clog, and the areas furthest from your heart, like your feet, legs, and groin, start to suffer first. You may feel it as cold feet or hands, numbness or tingling in your legs, leg cramps at night, lack of morning response, slower recovery after walking or intimacy. Now here's where it gets more interesting. Your body has an enzyme called ENOS, short for endothelial nitric oxide synthase. That's the machine that builds nitric oxide. But ENOS is like an engine. It needs fuel. And the fuel comes from foods like L-arginine, magnesium, omega-3s, and plant polyphenols. Each of the breakfast foods we talked about earlier feeds this system directly. Steel-cut oats contain magnesium and beta-glucan. Magnesium helps activate ENOS. Beta-glucan lowers LDL cholesterol that blocks blood vessels. Chia seeds give you ALA, a plant-based omega-3 that reduces inflammation in the endothelium. Blueberries are loaded with anthocyanins, powerful antioxidants that protect nitric oxide and keep blood vessels flexible. Green tea, especially with lemon, delivers EGCG, a natural compound that reactivates eNOS and promotes new nitric oxide production. And avocados? They help balance blood fats and contain potassium and vitamin E, both of which support vascular tone and hormone signaling. Think of your circulatory system like a garden hose. When you're young and healthy, the hose is soft, wide, and water flows freely. But with age, and especially with diabetes, the hose becomes stiff, clogged, and narrowed. Nitric oxide is what makes the hose soft again, but only if your body has the right tools to make it. Now let's talk about insulin resistance, because that's the other silent enemy. In type 2 diabetes, your body becomes resistant to insulin, meaning your cells no longer respond to it properly. This causes sugar to build up in the blood, damaging tissues, nerves, and small vessels. But what many men don't realize is that insulin resistance also reduces testosterone and blood flow. The two are deeply connected. Low testosterone leads to weaker muscle tone, lower libido, less motivation, poorer response to arousal, and insulin resistance blocks the signal your brain sends to produce testosterone. It's like yelling through a broken microphone. The message doesn't get through. The good news? Certain foods help reverse insulin resistance naturally, especially when eaten in the morning, when your body is most sensitive to change. For example, cinnamon improves insulin receptor function. Chia and oats slow glucose absorption, reducing insulin spikes. Green tea helps lower fasting glucose and increase insulin sensitivity. Blueberries help regulate glucose uptake into muscles instead of being stored as fat. Together, they work not just on your blood sugar, but on the deeper root problem behind fatigue, performance loss, and vascular damage. You're not just eating for energy. You're eating to retrain your body to respond better to insulin, produce more nitric oxide, and allow blood to reach the places that matter. Let's be honest. Most men with type 2 diabetes are never told any of this. They're handed a prescription, told to avoid sugar, and maybe given a pamphlet about carbs. But no one says, let me show you how to eat so your blood vessels heal. Or, here's how to rebuild nitric oxide naturally so you feel like yourself again. That's what this is about. Not just better glucose numbers on a chart, but stronger mornings, steadier energy, and a renewed connection to your body and your partner. The science is clear. The foods are simple. And your body is waiting. Still capable of change, still ready to respond. It just needs the right signal, and every bite you take at breakfast is that signal. If there's one thing I've learned after 2 decades of treating men over 60, it's this. The hardest part isn't changing your habits. It's believing that change is still possible. By the time many men reach me, they've already decided, quietly, sometimes without words, that this part of their life is over, that the spark is gone, that energy, confidence, and connection are for younger men, that diabetes has taken more than their sugar control. It's taken something deeply personal. But here's what I want you to hear. You are not too far gone. You have not missed your chance. And you are not alone. What you're experiencing, fatigue, numbness, lack of response, emotional distance, it's common, but it's not permanent. And it doesn't require perfection to turn it around. You don't have to follow a perfect diet. You don't need to become someone you're not. You just need to take one small step. And take it again tomorrow. For Frank, the patient I told you about, it didn't start with a complete diet overhaul. It started with a single bowl of oats. One decision, one quiet act of courage. He wasn't chasing a miracle. He just wanted to feel something again. And slowly, he did. His story isn't special because it's rare. It's special because it's repeatable. I've seen it happen in men who thought they were done. Men who hadn't felt a morning response in years. Who hadn't spoken openly about their health in even longer. Men who didn't think breakfast could matter until it did. And all of them had one thing in common. They started. They didn't wait for the perfect meal plan. They didn't wait until they had the motivation. They just began. Some added chia seeds to their coffee routine. Others swapped toast for eggs and avocado. A few simply added green tea to their mornings and gave up juice. Tiny shifts, nothing dramatic, but done daily. That's how change happens. Because your body doesn't respond to pressure. It responds to rhythm. You may not feel different after one bowl of oats or one cup of green tea, but give it a week, 2 weeks, and something subtle begins to shift. You wake up with more steadiness in your legs. You climb stairs with a little less strain. You feel more present when your partner reaches for your hand. And maybe, just maybe, your body responds in a way it hasn't in years. That's not fantasy. That's blood flow. That's healing. That's nitric oxide doing its job again. And you gave your body the tools to make that happen. You didn't need permission. You didn't need a prescription. You just needed the right starting point. And now you have it. So tomorrow morning, I want you to make one decision. Just one. Pick a breakfast food from today's video. Prepare it. Sit down. Eat it slowly and say to yourself, this is for me. Not for a number on a chart, not to prove something to anyone, but for you, for your energy, your strength, your story. Because it's not too late to rewrite that story. It's not too late to reconnect with your body. It's not too late to feel alive in the mornings again. Whether you're 62 or 78, whether you've had diabetes for 2 years or 20, your body still listens when you treat it with care. It may take time. It may not look like anyone else's journey, but every small choice adds up. Your fork is not just a utensil. It's a message. Every bite tells your body, I'm still here. I'm still fighting. I still care. So fight gently. Start small. Stay consistent. And watch what happens next. If you've made it this far, that tells me something. You're not just curious. You care. You care about your body. You care about your energy. And somewhere inside, maybe quietly, you care about feeling connected again. To yourself, to your strength, to the person you share your mornings with. That's not weakness, that's wisdom. You've seen enough in life to know that quick fixes don't last. And you're done chasing shortcuts that only leave you more tired, more frustrated, more distant. Today wasn't about magic. It wasn't about hacks. It was about understanding your body again, about listening to what it's been trying to tell you. Maybe your hands have been colder lately. Maybe your mornings feel flatter. Maybe that spark of intimacy that once came naturally now feels like a distant memory. You're not alone in that. Millions of men over 60, especially those living with diabetes, walk around each day carrying that same quiet frustration. But very few speak it. Even fewer seek real answers. And that's why this message matters. Because right now, in this moment, you have something they don't yet. You have a starting point. You know which foods to try. You know how they help. And most importantly, you know that this can change. Not by doing everything at once, not by being perfect, but by choosing just once, each morning, to do something that supports your future. So here's what I ask you to do. Tomorrow, pick one food from today's video. Just one. Maybe it's oats. Maybe it's avocado. Maybe it's green tea. Whatever it is, try it. Feel it. Notice what shifts, and then come back. Tell us in the comments, what did you try? Write 1 if you're starting tomorrow. Write 0 if you're still unsure. And let me know what questions you have. I read every single one. Your comment isn't just feedback, it's hope for someone else who's watching silently, wondering if they're the only one. When you share, you help other men find their strength again. You help build a quiet community of resilience, of real healing, of men who aren't done yet, not by a long shot. And if this video spoke to you, if it opened a door, even just a little, please like it, share it, or send it to a friend who might need to hear it. You never know whose story you might help rewrite with one click. This isn't the end of your journey. It's the beginning of a better rhythm. And next time, we'll go even deeper. We'll talk about what to eat at night to support blood flow while you sleep, and how your evening habits could be the missing link to better mornings. But for now, I'll leave you with this. You are not too old, you are not too late, and you are not broken. You are a man still writing his story. And the next chapter begins tomorrow morning, right at your breakfast table. Take care of yourself, take the first step, and I'll see you in the next video.